So, hello and welcome. My name is Sarah. I am one of the expert teachers here at E2 Language, and I'm going to take you through this IELTS class today. This is speaking and it's academic and general, so very welcome. Some people already saying hi to me in the chat box and saying hi to each other, I see. Well done, welcome. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. Great. And if you are joining us today on YouTube, very welcome. I can't see your comments over there, but if you would like to join us here in E2 Language, then please come on over and feel free to sign up for a package. We would be delighted to see you here in the chat box. All right, so today's live class is going to start off with a brief overview of the IELTS test. Then we will look at some vocabulary for the first section and we'll have a quiz. We've got some test practice. Then we're going to do part one and part two test practice. Part three today, we're going to focus in on hesitation devices. So ways to kind of hesitate and think about what you're going to say effectively. And we'll also listen to some sample answers, and we'll have time at the end for some questions and answers. The whole thing will take us about an hour. All right. Nupur is having internet issues. How is the connection? Is everyone hearing okay? Is everyone finding the connection okay? Everyone's okay. It's good. Yep. Sorry, Nupur. I think it might just be your end. Great. So a couple of reminders before we get going. For those of you who have a package with us, we have the possibility to book your tutorial sessions. Remember, those are one-on-one sessions with one of our expert teachers. They're available there. We also have speaking tests where you can book, so you can upload a sample of your speaking and we will give you feedback, and you can also book to do one-to-one sessions with us to practice speaking, and you can buy extra speaking tests and tutorials in there in E2 Extras. All right. So IELTS speaking. First of all, let's do an overview of this. So there are three things here. First of all, how many minutes is the test? How long does it take? There are 11 to 14 minutes, exactly, well done. And how many parts does the test have? 3 parts, super. And this all takes place one-to-one with an examiner, all right. Then part 1 is personal questions. Part 2 is what? What's next in part 2? It's not small talk, it's what we call the cue card, exactly, or the 2-minute talk or presentation. Essentially, that's it. And then part 3 is a discussion. And the timings and the discussion is based on this topic from the part 2. The timings are more or less 4 to 5 minutes for personal questions, then 3 or 4 minutes for part 2, including the preparation time and maybe a follow-up question there. And part 3 is 4 to 5 minutes. All right. So on the test, the examiner is listening for these different things. The first one is fluency and coherence, exactly. The second one is lexical resource, which means your vocabulary and how much range of vocabulary you have. Then we have grammatical, I just use the word, exactly, range and accuracy. And finally, pronunciation. So you can access and check this information about the band descriptors. This is the public version of this. This is what the examiners are thinking about. And they give you a score for each of these criterion. So if you are aiming for one of these high scores, 7.5, 8, maybe even a 9, you really do need to have in mind that you are being assessed on your range. And you also need to have really, really very good grammatical accuracy. All right, so part 1, this is personal questions. As I said, it's 4 to 5 minutes, this section. But before this begins, the examiner asks some questions to check your identity. So this is called what we call here the introduction and ID check. So it goes something like this. My name is Sarah Curran. Could you tell me your full name, please? If your name is a bit complicated, they might say, what shall I call you? You can also volunteer this information, right? So if your name is quite complex, you can say, my name is da da da, but you can call me Al. Yeah. Or can you tell me where you're from? And this question is not assessed. So don't go into a big long explanation of where you're from, because the examiner will cut you off, right? They don't want to hear what they think would be a pre-prepared answer. And they will ask to see your ID. So then you show me your ID. All right. So we're going to practice this, and I'll ask you to get your phone and record yourself. I'll ask this throughout the different parts of the test. It's good practice to record yourself and then listen back and notice things like your hesitation, your oral fluency, your pronunciation, the vocabulary you use. Okay. Everyone having fun there in the chat box with the call me, call me Bond. Call me James Bond. Please don't do that in your test. But it is helpful, I think, if your name is complicated, to tell the examiner what to call you. All right. So here's a little bit of a tip. Give short factual answers here. This is not a scored part of the test. If you, like I say, if they think that you're giving a prepared answer, they will interrupt you. So let's practice this. It's just going to take us a couple of minutes. Good luck.
Good afternoon. My name is David. Can you tell me your full name, please? Can you tell me where you're from? Can I see your ID, please? Thank you.
Okay, and that's how it goes. That's the first part of the test. Yeah, so it's just a moment, first few words. It's good to feel confident about what you're doing there, so do practice it. Now let's move on to a bit of vocabulary for our part one today. So the topics of our part one questions are the area you live in and TV. All right, so I'd like you to brainstorm some vocabulary to help you with these sections. You can flood the chat box with your ideas. Let's go. 1 minute. Okay, some great ideas coming in there. Let's take a look at some of this. So I'm going to give you a minute to read through these ideas, this vocabulary, and then we'll do a quiz. Okay, a couple of questions coming up. Dodgy, this word means that it's not safe. Maybe there's some criminal activity. It's not a safe place to be. Sedentary means that you sort of sitting down. It comes from this idea of not moving very much. And the other word that was escapism. Escapism is about distracting yourself, right? So maybe you, I don't know, watch sitcoms or you watch something on Netflix. This would be a form of escapism. Your personal escapism could take, many different forms. Upmarket means that it's of a high standing level, so maybe a little bit expensive, quite well kept, that kind of idea. Good. All right. I'm not going to go into any more. You'll have to do a bit of a Googling if you need more on that. Let's now go for a quiz. You're going to see some of those words that I just talked about here. So good luck with this one. You have to complete the 5 sentences with one of the words from the bottom. Here you go. Okay, well done. So let's take a look at the answers for this. We had number 1, my area is the perfect place to raise a family. Kids today tend to be very sedentary compared to those in the past. As a child, I used to be absolutely glued to the screen when the Olympics were on. In my experience, TV has a really bad impact on your attention span. And finally, there are heaps of restaurants in my area, but it's really lacking sports facilities. So well done. Most of you got those. Excellent. So let's move on to talk about the basics for part 1. What does it consist of? All right. So the examiner will ask you 12 questions on 3 topics. All right. The first topic is always questions about what you do or where you live. All right. Then we've got the second and the third topic, and this could be any topic, and sometimes they're quite eccentric. Yeah, we've got sport, hobbies, shopping, cooking, computers, friends, etc. They might ask you about perfume, about the stars, about collecting things, like all kinds of stuff. So you need to be a bit flexible and a bit ready to answer anything. But the good news is that the questions are designed to be personal and simple. So for example, here are a couple of examples. They're designed for everybody to be able to answer them. But even if the questions are simple, if you are aiming for a 7 or an 8 or higher, then you really want to be showing off from the outset. So we have some methods to help you with part 1. Can you remember what these methods are? Yes, Denise, that's fine. You can screenshot the presentation. Good, yeah. Extend, give your opinion, compare past, compare future. Good one. These techniques help you to extend your answers and demonstrate your range of grammar and vocabulary. So these are the methods that we focus on in the course. We've got number 1, give your opinion, provide details, give contrasts, compare the past to the present, compare the present to the future, and give reasons. In previous sessions, we've focused in on those. There is also practice on the platform of those. And today we're going to practice here with 5 questions. So get ready, get your recording apps ready. All right, we're going to do 5 of these. First, we've got 2 slides, 3 questions on the first slide and 2 questions on the second slide. I'll roll straight into the second slide. And here on screen is a reminder of those methods. See if you can experiment with some different ones here. You can use them in combination, but the idea is that they will help you to show that you have range. Here we go, guys. Good luck.
Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live. Do you live in a big city or small town? What can people do for fun there? What would you change if you could? Let's talk about TV. Did you watch much TV as a child? Do you think children these days watch too much TV?
Okay, how did that go? Those were the questions. All right. Too fast. 15 seconds is not a lot of time to extend your answers, maybe. Not bad. Felt great. Okay, good. Can we use informal words or phrases? Asks Mona. Yes, you can. You don't have to be overly formal in the speaking test, but equally you don't need to be, too informal. So it depends what you mean by informal language. All right, now let's do a bit of a demonstration. I'd like you to, why don't you choose 2 questions for me to answer here? Let's have your choices in the chat box. All right, it looks like number 3. And what you could change if you could. Number 3 and maybe number 5. All right, so I'll answer number 3 and number 5. Imagine I've already talked about the fact that I live in a small town, because I do. All right, and then it would say, what would you change if you could? And I would say, well, for sure, I would change the fact that there is no longer a cinema in my town. So if I want to go to the cinema, I have to go to the nearest city, which is about half an hour away. And in fact, even if I go there, I can only see the films dubbed into Spanish. They don't show the films in English or in the original version. And I hate watching films dubbed. So I would definitely change that. Okay, that was easy for me. So I definitely have a cinema, right? So I'm comparing, I guess, here, giving some details. Right, and now the last one. Do you think children these days watch too much TV? Well, yes, I think in general, children probably do watch too much TV, but my children don't, because I'm really strict about it. And it's one of the biggest battles in our family, actually, because I really limit the amount of time they're allowed to watch TV, and other families that don't do that. So their friends get to watch a lot more than them. And they constantly remind me of that fact. So there you go. Yeah, you can make it personal, even if the question is general here in part 1. I sort of mentioned what I think is happening in general, but then definitely, bringing it to my kids. Yeah, and it's actually, both of those answers are completely true, but you don't have to give true answers either. You can invent your answers if you like, but it was just, I think, so for me, I find it easier to be giving genuine answers, I think. All right. So this is the difficult part. Let me know if you would like to have a question, if you would like to have a turn at doing this. So I'm just going to select you at random. I don't remember who had a go last time. Raquel Cruz, I am going to find you and let you speak. So Raquel is going to get a go. Let me find you. Raquel Cruz. Here we go. You should be able to speak now, Raquel.
Hello. Good morning
Hello.
from this side.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Super. Where are you speaking to us from today?
So I'm from Dominican Republic, but I'm speaking from Toronto, Canada right now.
Ah, super. Oh, I know we have some people in the house who are trying to do IELTS just for this reason, to go to Canada. How is life?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been
Super.
good.
Good, good. Okay, so I'm going to ask you one of these questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go. Do you live in a big city or a small town?
Actually, I've been living in the largest city of Canada for 10th month now, and it has been different because compared to the past, I've always lived in a small city in the Dominican Republic.
Nice. You're comparing there immediately. Listen, that question's a bit short, so I'll ask you another one. What can people do for fun there?
So actually, I'm very close to a subway station, so I can easily access many of the entertainment they have here. We can go to the cinema, to museums, to the harbor front. There are many activities we can do, in fact.
Great. Okay, this is really nicely extended answers, not too long. You're using some different methods there. So well done. I'm sure you're going to do great on the test. Do you have it coming soon?
Yeah, in fact, it's this Sunday. So I just have a few days.
Fantastic. Well, all the best for the test. I really hope it goes well. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye now. Right, let's take another volunteer. I'm going to go with Nitin Ujainwal. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I apologize.
Yes. Yeah,
Hello.
that was good. Yeah, hi. Am I
Not
audible?
bad. Okay, thank you. Where are you speaking to us from, Nitin?
I'm from the capital, New Delhi.
New Delhi. Right, super.
Yep.
Okay, so you're from New Delhi, da 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 da. So I'm going to ask you, what would you change if you could?
Uh, in my opinion, I think I would try to make uh, the transportation in Delhi better so that people can hang out outside late night also. I mean, they can go around during the late hours. And this is one thing which I would like to change so that, people stay more outside and, of course, get their hairs down.
Get their what? Sorry, get their hairs.
I mean, yeah, this is one
I
collocation.
didn't
Maybe
catch the last thing you said. Get their
yeah,
hair down. Did you say let their
yeah,
hair down?
yeah, let their hair down. Probably, is it correct or wrong?
Brilliant. It's a lovely expression. I think you put an S on the end of it. So you can't say let their
Okay.
hairs down. That sounds a bit funny.
Yes. Maybe I put it. Yeah,
Let their hair
maybe.
down. Right.
Yes.
Are you quite young, Nitin? How old? You seem like a young guy. You're interested in the nightlife.
Of course, I mean, everybody wants to be. I mean, I think it's nice. That keeps you young, maybe. That keeps you alive.
Yeah. No, it's super. I thought you were going to talk about the pollution in Delhi and like maybe say, I'd like there to be better transportation so there's less pollution. But actually, you were like, better transportation so we can party at night.
That was, I think, my opinion.
No, it's absolutely fine. You can definitely have your opinion. I love it, right? You can let your hair down and enjoy yourself. This is a good example of a idiomatic expression, which is nice to use if you're looking for those higher bands. But sometimes you have to be a bit careful because if you misuse them, they can sound a little bit weird, right? So if you say, let your hairs down, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
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 So
Got it.
good one. But be careful. You won't make that mistake again, I'm sure.
Yes.
So thank you so much for volunteering. That was great.
Thank
Right,
you.
let's find another person. Let me see who we're going to have. Lots of people flooding the chat box, sticking their hands up. I'm going to go with another lady now. Let me see. I'm going to go with Sarah Memakamani. That's a bit of a mouthful for me. I apologize about that. Let me find you, Sarah. Where have you disappeared to? Hang on. Eek, sorry. No. I think you might have your hand up. There you are. Brilliant. Right. Hello, Sarah. Hi. Oops, Sarah,
Hello.
maybe you can. Brilliant. You can speak. Hello. Where are you speaking
I
from?
cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. No, not working. Okay, let's take you away. I'm going to go with Oscar Larea. Oscar Larea. Hello?
Yes. Yes, hello.
Super, I can hear you. Where are you speaking from today?
I'm speaking from Ecuador.
Ecuador. Nice. Okay. So listen, I'm going to ask you, did you watch much TV as a child?
Well, actually, when I was a child, I have a lot of restrictions about TV. My mother provide me to watch more than 3 hours per day. So I didn't watch too much TV, I think.
Okay. Did you say forbade? It would be forbade. Forbade
Okay.
me from watching is the structure there. It's a bit tricky, right? But or you can put it in a less formal way and say, my mother didn't let me watch. Okay.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Now I'm worried because you were seriously 3 hours a day and you think that it was a restriction. My kids are going to hate me for the rest of their life. They don't even get to watch it every day. Oh my word, I'm a mean mum. Right, here we go. Let's go for one more volunteer for this last question. All right, it's going to be a girl. It's going to be Laura. Laura Sercos. I think I'm going to go with you if I can. Let me find you there. Laura, I'm guessing it's Laura.
Yeah, it's Laura.
It's Laura. Where are you speaking from, Laura?
I'm from Barcelona.
From Barcelona. No way. I'm in Girona, in Banyoles.
Hi.
Really
That's
close by. You're down the road. How super. So listen, I'm going to ask you, do you think children these days watch too much TV?
yeah, I think so, because when I was a child, I didn't spend much time as they do now. I watch it, for instance, once or twice a week, but I think today they also have not only TV, but also smartphones and tablets, so they can watch videos all day.
Well done. Nice. I think the only thing you did, and it's a really classic Spanish speaker mistake, is to say watch it instead of watched. Just once. You did other times you said it correctly, and then just once it slipped out. So be careful with those ed endings, because there's only an extra syllable if it's with a t or a d just before, right? So it's wanted, did, but the others it's not there. I'm sure you know that, but sometimes it just pops out.
Okay, thank you.
All right. That was a super answer. Well done. Thanks a lot. And yeah, how exciting. It's the first time I've ever had somebody in Barcelona. So it was nice. All right. So well done, guys. If you didn't get a turn, I do apologize. But remember, if you sign up for E2 language and get a package, then you get the chance to do these with one of us live and get feedback. And it can be either feedback with an assessment, or you can also do a one-on-one tutorial and get this opportunity to get feedback with us like that as well. All right, so let's move on to part 2. Here we go. You're in this part, as you know, this is the cue card section. So you're given either a task card or a booklet, and you have 1 minute to prepare on your topic. And we strongly recommend that you take notes in that section so that you can have those notes if you get blocked, if you go blank, if you need something else to say. You have to speak, you aim to speak for 2 minutes, and the examiner, just speak until the examiner interrupts you is the best way to go, because you don't want to be thinking about timing 2 minutes. In fact, you can't, because you won't have access to a watch. Just keep speaking until the examiner says, thank you like this and stops you, and then you stop, right? So the examiner will sometimes ask you 1 or 2 follow-up questions. Not always, but if they do, get ready for those. And the tasks look something like this. So you're given a task card with something like this on it. The different methods here, I'm sure many of you know, we recommend what we call the PPF method. This is the past, present, future method. There are a couple of versions of this. Version 1 is to tell 3 separate stories about the past, the present, and the future. Or you can go with version 2, which means to talk about the task card and include information from the past, the present, and the future. The third method is what we could call the more traditional method. And this would be where you start with a short introduction and then you use the points on the task card to structure your talk in order. So we recommend that you practice both and choose the method that works for you, the method that enables you to speak for the full 2 minutes, and bearing in mind that if you use or are able to use the PPF method, then it would give you the opportunity to show range for the examiner, right? But you do have to be a bit flexible here. So before we practice today's task, let's activate some vocabulary. What we're going to do today is a topic of leadership. So I'd like you to think of some interesting vocabulary to use on this topic. Here we go. Okay, loads of ideas in the chat box. Let's take a look at some ideas here. I'm going to give you 45 seconds to read them. Here we go. Okay, so let's take a look at a bit of a quiz with some of this vocabulary. Here we go. Okay, well done. So let's take a look at the answers for this. So number 1, charismatic, is E, charming. Number 2, innate gift, is B, a natural or biological trait. Number 3, look up to, is D, admire. Number 4, visionary, is A, person with original ideas about the future. And number 5, authoritarian, is C, forcing strict obedience. So well done if you got those, many of you did. Now let's practice part 2. So get your recording apps ready for this. Do record yourselves doing this and remember to listen back to it after the session as well. So this is our example for today. I'm going to turn off my video while you do this and wish you all good luck.
Now, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you speak, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make notes if you wish. Do you understand? Here's a pen and paper for your notes, and here's your topic. Please don't write on it. I'd like you to talk about a leader that inspires you. All right? Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please? Thank you. Would you like to be a leader?
Okay, well done, everybody. How did that go? Let me know in the chat box. If you've got any questions about this section, then let me know. Let's take a look in the chat box at your questions. Hang on a second, let me just see. So some people saying, great, it was good, quite enjoyable, that's good. Shocked when you asked the last question. Yeah, often what happens there, Maria, with that last question is it's when the examiner's taking away the paper from you, okay, and they will just kind of chuck in that question there at that moment, and then they go into part 3. Struggled using the PPF format. So it takes time maybe to practice it, Sue has, maybe you don't feel comfortable with it, but if you practice using it and see if you can make it fit in, then it could be quite good. Aditi speaking about Michelle Obama, reading her memoirs at the moment, which are wonderful. That book is fantastic. I loved it. What was it called? Becoming, I think, right? Really good. And it's really good as an audio book as well, if you have Audible, because she reads it herself and she's a wonderful reader. So definitely recommend that book by Michelle Obama. Yeah, it's really good. I listened to it on Audible as well. Do we need to cover all the points? Asks Nidhi. No, you don't. Miguel says, what if we only talk for a minute and a half? That's fine. Aim for 2 minutes, but if you don't, get there, don't worry too much. Facing Navdeep says, I talked about my friend who is leading a business. Is it okay? Yes, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, you don't need to talk about a famous person. It can be somebody you know. It can be somebody that you admire that's not necessarily famous. That's absolutely fine as well. Good one. Okay. Let's just take a moment, as I said, if you want the experience of doing some of this practice with one of us, then you can book a one-to-one tutorial. Yeah, it's a chance for you to get that one-on-one practice with us. Just one moment, I seem to have lost the slides. Hang on, I've got so many windows open. Here we go. Sorry about this. Okay, so yeah, if you are, if you want to have some one-on-one practice with us, then do come along to a tutorial session where we get the opportunity to do some practice like this. We can give you feedback there in the session. And if you are joining us for free, some free users in here today, you don't have full access to everything at the moment, but if you want it, then this is the package for you. The Showtime package is available for just $89 US. It's only available for a few more days and it's going to finish. And this package includes a study plan session with one of us, a 45-minute one-to-one tutorial that I just talked about, a 30-day study plan, a mini mock test, and unlimited access to all the live classes and the recordings of those live classes. So it's a really good value package, and you can get full information at this webpage here to sign up. So go to promo.e2language.com/showtime-package for more information there, because it's a really, really good package and it's only available for a few more days. All right. So next up, we've got part 3. Part 3 is the discussion based on the topic of part 2, and it's 4 to 5 minutes for this section. So there are 3 to 8 questions related to the presentation here. It depends on how much you extend your answers. Now, don't worry if you don't know much about the topic. It is a language test, not an IQ test. So obviously it helps if you're familiar with the topics, but it's not the end of the world. And today we're going to look at some expressions that can help you when you're faced with a question that really, puts you on the spot and makes you think. The questions here are general and abstract. They're not personal. So, for example, in your opinion, what are some qualities of a good leader? All right. So you're not talking about personal experience of being a leader, but you're talking about, in general, what are qualities. So there are different methods which we cover in part 3 of your course. Can you remember any of those? These techniques are there to help you to extend your answers and demonstrate your range of grammar and vocabulary. Yeah, so these are, examples. Yeah, exactly. We've got explain, say how and why. You can frame it, put it into a context. You can buy time, which we're going to talk about today. We can give examples and we can consider 2 views. So you can say on the one hand, whereas on the other hand. All right. So let's talk about how they can be quite challenging, these part 3 questions. And so because they're challenging, you can use what we call hesitation devices. So when you need time to think, these are really helpful for you because they just give you that little time to come up with the rest of your answer. So let's go through some together. All right. So the first ones are kind of sounds, really. So you might say, well, right? Or let me see, or, you know, or I mean, or like, so these ones are all a bit informal, they're quite short, right? But then we've got some longer ones as well. So we can say, that's such a good question. Or that's a tough question. Or, Maria's got a variation on this. That's an interesting question, or a very interesting question. That's a tough question, right? Obviously, you can't use this for every single answer, but you can definitely use it to buy yourself some time. Here's another. I've never really thought about that before. Okay, so you say, I've never really thought about that before. Let me see. Such a tough question. And then you answer the question, right? Or it's hard to say. That's a good one as well. It's hard to say. Or I'm no expert on that, but I would say that, yeah. So I'm no expert on that, but I would say that. And then you go into your answer that you've just coming up with on the spot, right? So let's hear some of these in action. We're going to listen and fill in the gaps and listen to this candidate completing these questions. So first up, we're going to listen and write. Here we go.
In your opinion, what are some qualities of a good leader?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, there are a lot of things that make a good leader. First and foremost, I suppose, there's the personality. This is a critical factor in determining.
Okay, so there was a combination of different ones here. Let's see them and we'll listen to them again. Here we go.
In your opinion, what are some qualities of a good leader?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, there are a lot of things that make a good leader. First and foremost, I suppose, there's the personality. This is
all right. Let's go for another one. Okay. Here we are. So listen again and write down, fill in the hesitation devices.
Do you think anyone can learn to be a good leader, or is it a natural talent?
Well, I'm not sure actually, but I guess that in some, actually many cases, it does seem to be an innate gift. Like take for instance, Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. These were leaders.
Okay, good. So some people getting that. Well done. So we'll listen again and you can read along with the candidate. See if you can follow the intonation pattern here.
Do you think anyone can learn to be a good leader, or is it a natural talent?
Well, I'm not sure actually, but I guess that in some, actually many cases, it does seem to be an innate gift. Like take for instance, Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. These were leaders.
Okay, and let's listen to one more. Here we go. What devices do they use here?
Does a company's success depend on management or on staff in general?
That's such a tough question. Let me see. I guess on the one hand, management plays an important role by managing the outfit, obviously, but also making sure that everything.
Okay, again, there they are. Let's listen along and read with them.
Does a company's success depend on management or on staff in general?
That's such a tough question. Let me see. I guess on the one hand, management plays an important role by managing the outfit, obviously, but also making sure that everything.
Okay, and finally, let's have one more.
How important is it for global leaders to get along with each other?
Well, I'm certainly no expert on international politics, but I would imagine that it's extremely important.
Okay, this was the last one. Again, listen and read along.
How important is it for global leaders to get along with each other?
Well, I'm certainly no expert on international politics, but I would imagine that it's extremely important.
All right, so there's a reminder of those hesitation devices. If you want to take a screenshot or take a photograph, this is a good moment. And it's your turn to practice with these. All right, so here we are. Let's get your recording apps ready. We're going to practice 4 questions today. Remember, you've got these methods on screen here to remind you. Let's go. Good luck.
We've been talking about a leader you admire, and I'd like to ask you 1 or 2 more questions related to this. Let's talk about qualities of leaders. In your opinion, what are some qualities of a good leader? Do you think anyone can learn to be a good leader, or is it a natural talent? Let's talk about leadership. Does a company's success depend on management or on staff in general? How important is it for global leaders to get along with each other?
Okay, how was that? Some tough questions there on leadership, I would say. Okay, some people feeling confident, that's good. Excellent. And did you use some of these expressions? I'm not an expert on that. It's quite useful, isn't it? Yeah, a bit hard. Yeah, use them a lot. Great. Tough topic. Yeah, that's a tough question, right? You can say good. Third one was quite hard. Okay, let's listen to some sample answers for this one today. We heard the introduction to these from this candidate. This is a candidate with an 8.5 on IELTS. Let's listen to their answers here. So this was our first one. Here we go.
In your opinion, what are some qualities of a good leader?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, there are a lot of things that make a good leader. First and foremost, I suppose, there's the personality. This is a critical factor in determining whether someone would be a good leader. I also believe that leaders need to be charismatic so that they can get their team members to follow their lead. They should also not be too authoritarian so as not to intimidate their team members if they want to come up to them with any problems. They should also be very considerate of their subordinates and be good at management.
Okay, really complete and lovely answer there. Yes, and it's Maria identifying there that this candidate does the uptalk thing. So that's kind of probably, I think, part of the reason for getting an 8.5. It's the pronunciation that would be the issue here for the bringing the score down. The other things are all really good. So pronunciation is the issue, but it's a minor thing, really. Here we go. The uptalk is the increasing intonation. So she goes up when she should be going down. Listen for it. So she goes, in fact, Australians kind of do it a little bit, I think, some of them, but it's not really correct. Don't tell my Australian colleagues I said that. All right, here we go. Listen out for it.
Do you think anyone can learn to be a good leader, or is it a natural talent?
Well, I'm not sure actually, but I guess that in many cases, it does seem to be an innate gift. Like, take for instance, Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. These were leaders that had the courage to stand up to society and stand up against the injustice around them. I feel like that is something that you're born with, the courage and initiative that leaders show. You might be able to learn that, but it would be really difficult.
Okay, we could hear some examples of it there, around them, going up. Yeah, so it should be coming a bit more down. Let's go for another one. Lovely complete answers though. The rest of it is great. Notice the vocabulary, lots of really good range here. Here we go, number 3.
Does a company's success depend on management or on staff in general?
That's such a tough question. Let me see. I guess on the one hand, management plays an important role by managing the outfit, obviously, but also making sure that everything is running consistently and everybody's working well together. But I feel like the dedication and hard work of the staff also goes a long way in ensuring the success of any organization.
Okay, and finally, number 4.
How important is it for global leaders to get along with each other?
Well, I'm certainly no expert on international politics, but I would imagine that it's extremely important. In today's day and age where nuclear power is so prominent throughout the world, I feel like global leaders have the responsibility to maintain peace, and that can only be ensured if they get along with each other. I feel like global leaders have a responsibility to be respectful to each other and try to understand each other, just to make sure that everybody gets to live.
Okay, so that's the end of her answers. Here's a nice review of all the vocabulary from that section, the adjectives, the nouns, the collocations, and also those hesitation devices that we've looked at. So take a picture of that or take a screenshot if you would like to. And let's reflect on how you did on this today. Remember, you can watch this recording in the recorded classes on E2 Language. And what did you do well? What did you find difficult? What do you think you need to work on? And how can you work on it? All right, these, remember, are the different criteria that the examiner is listening out for. You have fluency and coherence. So are you able to speak without effort? Are you using a range of connectives and discourse markers? And are you developing your topics fully? The lexical resource is about using your vocabulary precisely and flexibly, using some less common and idiomatic vocabulary, and using paraphrasing. So not saying the same things over and over. And also for grammatical range, we need to see a range of structures and frequent error-free sentences, especially for those high grades. For pronunciation, your intonation is important, the emphasis and stress, the connected speech, and also pronouncing all sounds correctly. All right. So remember, for more practice, if you have a package with us, you can use all of the self-study materials. They're stored in there. You can also review the speaking methods and practice there in that special section under the IELTS general course material. You can build your vocabulary in here with topic toolkits. There are 20 of those. They're extremely useful. You can submit your writing and speaking for feedback. And if you don't have any feedback included in your package, you can buy it as an extra in E2 Extras. You can book your tutorial sessions with us, and you can buy those speaking tests and the tutorials up here. We also have the IELTS mock test. Yeah, this is a computer delivered version of the test. It also includes a one-to-one speaking test, and you get band scores plus feedback. So you can buy or book that mock test in that section there. And finally, some of you are already joining us on YouTube. If you want to see the latest videos, you can check out our YouTube channel. Alex is always making some really interesting videos and putting them up there. And also remember, if you don't have a package with us at the moment, we just have a few more days left on the Showtime package. This is a really great value pocket package. It's $89 US, and it includes lots of things, including a tutorial and a mini mock test and full access to all the live classes. Now, Nia says, I can't find the E2 extras. I'll just go back to that slide. Let me show you here. So when you are in your platform, it's just that tab there. It says E2 extras. And in there, when you click it, you will see the different things that are available as extras. If you are a free user, you might not have access to it. I think you have to have some kind of package, a paid package. Ma'am, this is now time for questions. We have some time for questions at the end. So if you've got any questions, pop them into the box, the chat box, that is. If you have to go, because we're look at that, 3 minutes past. So if you have to go, I'll say thanks a lot for being here today. It was a pleasure, as always, to share this with you. And I'm going to stick around for a little while and answer questions now. So pop them in the chat box if you would like. So, Prince says, ma'am, using all these hesitation fillers along with every answer is good. She was using them with each answer. Yeah, I would say that it's fine as long as you're using a variety of them. The problem would come if you were always saying the same thing every time, right? So if you said, oh, that's a difficult question, and then, oh, that's a tough question. Oh, that's an interesting question. Even that kind of variety would probably not be enough. But if you vary them, then I think it's absolutely fine to use them. Maria saying, thank you very much. I had fun and learned a lot. It was nice to have you here, Maria. Thanks to you. Lots of people saying thank you. Can we also use hesitation devices in part 2? Asks Carla. Yeah, I think they could fit in naturally in part 2, couldn't they? I mean, they're a bit more typical in part 3 in response to these questions, but I think you could use them in part 2 as well. How does this speaking feedback work? Asks Hiral. Yeah, so the speaking feedback is you do a sample test and we give you feedback via the platform. So we evaluate you according to all the different criteria that the examiner is looking for. We provide you with a written report, which gives you feedback. And it also includes some links and some extra information to help you improve as well. Where to find the recording? Okay, so let me see if I can show you that easily. The recorded classes. Let me check where they are, which, yeah, there's a oh yeah, on the platform. I'll just show you on this screen, hang on. Here we go. So here on the platform, it's not highlighted on this slide, but you can see it here where it says recorded classes. So you go there and the classes from the last 2.5 weeks, more or less, are stored there. So that's where you'll find them. All right. Okay, thank you, Esperante. Thank you. Are we done? Yes, we're done. If you want to go, you can go. I'm just answering questions, but the class is finished, yeah. How to submit the speaking. So do we have to submit our recording in the speaking feedback? No, it is. I think it is a interview in all the cases. I'm hesitating because I think it depends on the package, but I think with this one, with IELTS, it's always a one-to-one interview. So with the gold package, yeah, it would be like that, I think. Let me just have a look. I think I can sign in and just check what it looks like for you. So you can also, in a gold package, you have some speaking assessments included as well. And for those, if you go to the feedback section, there's an explanatory video showing how it works. Let me just share the screen with you. Hang on, so you can see. Here we go. All right, so if you are, so for example, if you go to home, this is a gold package, you go to feedback here, and in there, there's an informationary tab, and it will show you exactly how it works. But for these ones, you submit a recording and then we listen to it. All right, I hope that helps. Any other questions about the platform while we're here? In the show package, can we get speaking feedback? So Tushika asks about this. In the Showtime package, it doesn't include speaking assessments, but it does include the mock test and a tutorial. And if you want to add on anything, then you go to the E2 extras. And then in there, you can add on extras. All right. What does E2 language mean? I don't know. I actually don't know. I think it's to do with like being online. So E as in like online, but it's a very good question. English. I will ask Jay next time I talk to him. I think he's enjoying being out of lockdown today. So he's gone to do some surfing. Much deserved. You've had a hard lockdown in Melbourne there. Is it okay? Asks Sweden, is it okay if you had a wrong pronunciation of a word and you'll correct it and say what I mean is, yeah, you could do that, or you could just quickly correct it. I mean, and then just say the correction. It might be better than just leaving it there. English second language. Yeah, Mariella, that could be it. We have to submit a recording. I think that both are available, Victor. Can I switch from Express Plus to Showtime package? I think no. I think you should contact hello@E2 Language with that question, but I think it's a no. It might be English as a second language. That would work, wouldn't it? It's very catchy, isn't it? I've never really thought about it. You can take the mock test any day with these Showtime packages, that you just make sure that you have spent some time preparing before you do the mock test. So, but there's no stipulation there. You just go here to book your mock test at the time that you would like. I can't because I've already done it. All right. Well, I think that's the end of the questions. So I thank everybody for coming today. It's been a pleasure, as I said, and I'll be back here next week with more. So until then, good luck with the preparation. Good luck if you've got your tests coming up soon. I know some of you have. All the best for those, and